I think the rise of women's basketball has a lot to do with Caitlin Clark. With those simple words, Kelsey Mitchell just silenced a critic and sent shockwaves through the basketball world. The moment those words left her mouth, you could literally see the change in Chiney Ogunbowale's face, that practice smile slipping as her carefully crafted narrative fell apart in real time. But what led to this explosive moment? Why did a 7-year WNBA veteran feel the need to stand up for her rookie teammate, and why are Indiana Fever fans absolutely losing their minds with excitement over these 12 words? Let me take you behind the scenes of the interview that has everyone talking, where a calculated attempt to diminish Caitlin Clark's impact backfired in the most spectacular way possible. For those who don't know, Kelsey Mitchell isn't just any WNBA player, she's Indiana royalty, a veteran who's weathered the storms and stayed loyal when others would have walked. She's been with the Fever through thick and thin for 7 seasons, showing up game after game when wins were hard to come by. Ever since Caitlin Clark entered the picture, there's been this weird undercurrent of criticism from certain voices in the media. These aren't just basketball critics, they're loaded comments wrapped in fake professionalism, and recently, Chiney Ogunbowale decided to take another shot, but this time, she went too far. During an interview segment, Chiney made these snide remarks that weren't just attacking Caitlin, they were dismissing the entire Fever organization and fan base. Lord Jesus, your team and their fans, Jesus, they're getting up in everyone's business, she said with that condescending tone that's become her trademark when discussing Indiana. This wasn't just another hot take, this was personal, and Kelsey Mitchell wasn't about to let it slide, not when it attacked the very fans who've supported her through 7 seasons of ups and downs, not when it tried to diminish what this team has built. So there they were on the segment discussing the rise of women's basketball. The question seemed innocent enough on the surface, asking about moments that highlight the explosion of the women's game. You could just feel the condescension dripping from every word as Chiney spoke, that smug confidence she always brings when talking about Indiana. The way she phrased it, Lord Jesus, your team and their fans, Jesus, they're getting up in everybody's business. Notice how she wasn't taking a shot at the fans, but directly included your team in the criticism. She hit Mitchell with this loaded question about the explosion of the game, clearly fishing for a diplomatic answer that avoided giving Caitlin any credit. The setup was perfect. Get Kelsey to talk about the growth of women's basketball in general terms without acknowledging the Clark effect that has objectively changed the landscape. But the second those words left Chiney's mouth, you could see something shift in Kelsey's eyes. That veteran composure stayed intact, but there was fire behind it. 7 years of building something in Indiana, and now someone's trying to frame their success as a problem? What happened next wasn't just a response, it was a masterclass in putting someone in their place while maintaining absolute professionalism. Kelsey didn't hesitate. She looked them straight in the eye and delivered a truth bomb. I think the rise of women's basketball has a lot to do with Caitlin Clark. Direct, unfiltered, undeniable. The moment Caitlin's name left her mouth, you could see Chiney's face change. That practiced media smile slipped just a fraction because this wasn't in the script. The narrative she was trying to build just crumbled in real time. There's even a moment where the camera catches her expression, that subtle "oh no she didn't" look that tells the whole story. Notice how Kelsey never raised her voice, never got emotional. She didn't need to. The truth hits harder when delivered with confidence. She spoke with the authority of someone who's earned her place, who's been through the rebuilding years, and now stands at the center of this resistance. This wasn't just defending a teammate, this was Kelsey Mitchell establishing boundaries around her entire organization. She wasn't going to let anyone diminish what they've built or the fans who've stuck with them. In just 30 seconds, she dismantled months of carefully crafted narratives trying to diminish what's happening in Indiana. I've seen both sides of it, Mitchell continued, explaining how she's witnessed the evolution of the franchise firsthand. She talked about the shift in moments in Indiana and how she's even seen the team transform. The power was in what she didn't have to say explicitly, that she knows the difference between the Fever before and after Clark because she's lived it. This isn't the first time Shanae has taken shots at Clark or the Fever. There's been a consistent pattern throughout the season: subtle digs, backhanded compliments, and questions deliberately framed to avoid giving Clark proper credit. Remember all those segments where they discussed the WNBA's popularity explosion without mentioning Clark by name? Or how about when figures like Shanae would attribute the growth to many factors while dancing around the obvious catalyst? There's a consistent thread here. They've been pushing this narrative that somehow Indiana's success is problematic rather than celebrated. The undertone in comments like Shanae's is that Fever fans are too much or overboard rather than passionate supporters who are finally seeing their team thrive. Meanwhile, analysts who give their fair coverage have acknowledged the undeniable impact Clark has had on attendance, viewership, and engagement. The numbers don't lie. Ratings are through the roof, arenas are sold out, and merchandise is flying off shelves. But this time, they picked the wrong veteran to test with their passive-aggressive questioning. They thought they could lead Kelsey into downplaying Clark's impact, maybe get her to express some frustration with all the attention her rookie teammate receives. Instead, they got a lesson in viewership and loyalty. Let's remember who Kelsey Mitchell is in this league and for this franchise. This isn't just any player. This is Indiana basketball loyalty. Top 10 in scoring 5 straight seasons from 2020 through 2024, second all-time in franchise history for points, field goals made, three-pointers made, and free throws. She's played the third most games in Fever history and ranks 4th all-time in career assists. And let's not forget, she owns the top 3 highest scoring performances in Fever history. When Indiana was struggling, when wins were scarce, and the spotlight was elsewhere, Kelsey stayed and kept building. While other stars might have looked for trades to contenders, Mitchell remained committed to Indiana, believing in what they were building even when results weren't showing on court. So when she speaks about this team, about its growth, about what's really happening, she's earned every syllable of that authority. Her words carry weight because they're backed by years of commitment, thousands of points, countless practice hours, and unwavering loyalty. Unlike the talking heads who pop in for hot takes, Mitchell has lived this journey from the difficult years to this renaissance. She's not speculating from a studio, she's speaking from the heart of the locker room, from the center of this transformation. And maybe that's what makes certain media figures so uncomfortable. They can't control a narrative when players with Kelsey's credibility speak unfiltered truths that contradict their preferred storylines. What makes this even more powerful is how Caitlin Clark has consistently praised Kelsey Mitchell. This isn't a rookie coming in and stealing the spotlight without acknowledging those who built the foundation. It's actually the opposite. Remember when Clark said, "I felt like Kelsey probably should have gotten a little love. I honestly thought she probably should have been Player of the Month," or when she added, "I feel very fortunate to play with her. I feel lucky to have a backcourt mate that's been through this for 7 years and has really helped me and kind of let me flourish." These two aren't just teammates, they're developing a backcourt synergy that has defenders scrambling. Their chemistry is obvious on the court, with Mitchell's experience complementing Clark's creative playmaking. They're pushing each other to new heights, not just elevating each other, but the entire team as well. This unity is exactly what the critics didn't want to see. They were banking on tension, on jealousy, on division that they could exploit. The veteran-rookie dynamic is fertile ground for conflict narratives, especially when the rookie arrives with unprecedented attention. How many stories have we seen about established stars being threatened by newcomers? Instead, what we're witnessing is a veteran embracing a rookie honoring a veteran, and a team culture that's become unbreakable. Mitchell could have easily felt overshadowed by Clark's arrival and the media circus that followed, but instead, she recognized how Clark's presence benefits not just her individually, but women's basketball as a whole. That's why Mitchell's words hit differently. She wasn't just defending a teammate, she was speaking her truth as someone who recognizes genuine growth and impact when she sees it. The moment this interview hit social media, the Fever Nation absolutely erupted. Comments poured in celebrating Mitchell for speaking the truth and standing up for both Clark and the fan base. Kelsey just said what we've all been thinking, one fan wrote. Finally, someone with the courage to call out these biased takes added another. The response wasn't just supportive, it was grateful. Grateful that a player they've cheered for through difficult seasons was now defending them in return. This isn't just about one clapback, this is about fans feeling heard and defended by a player who understands what they bring. For months now, certain voices have tried to paint Fever fans as problematic or excessive, as if their enthusiasm is somehow a negative. These same fans who get labeled as too much are the ones breaking attendance records, buying merch, and revitalizing this league. They're selling out arenas not just in Indiana, but wherever the Fever travel. They're driving television ratings to heights the WNBA has never seen before. Their passion isn't a problem, it's the solution that the league has been searching for all this time. What we're seeing isn't just support, it's a movement with players and fans united in pushing women's basketball forward. And at the center of it all is this beautiful dynamic between a loyal veteran and a transcendent rookie, both appreciating each other and the fans who make it all possible. When Kelly Krauskopf, longtime WNBA and NBA executive, took a moment to publicly highlight Mitchell's impact, she said, "Everything about Kelsey Mitchell is core. Right core values, her core basketball, everything about her is what we're about." That wasn't just praise, it was recognition of the foundation Mitchell provides that allows stars like Clark to shine even brighter. What makes this whole situation so fascinating is the disconnect between what's happening on the ground and how certain media figures are framing it. While attendance soars, ratings explode, and social media engagement reaches unprecedented levels, there's a strange reluctance to acknowledge the obvious catalyst. Why though? The stats are undeniable, the impact is visible, yet there's this coordinated effort to distribute credit everywhere except where it's most due. It's not that other factors and players haven't contributed to the WNBA's growth, they absolutely have, but refusing to acknowledge Clark's transformative effect is just deliberately obtuse at this point. There's no shade to the incredible talents across the league. Players like Aja Wilson, Alyssa Thomas, and Breanna Stewart have been elevating the game for years, but the numbers tell a clear story about what's changed in 2024, and Kelsey Mitchell was simply honest enough to say it out loud. That honesty is refreshing in a media landscape that often feels more committed to narratives than truths. Mitchell didn't dance around it or offer some diplomatic non-answer. She spoke directly and with the authority of someone who's seen the change firsthand. And let's be real about the advice Mitchell shared. You have to go where you're literally loved, and I mean that literally, and I mean that intentionally. Go where you're loved and not tolerated, because all money is not good money. That wasn't just about basketball, that was life wisdom from someone who's learned through experience what truly matters. What Kelsey Mitchell did wasn't just defend a teammate, it was a declaration that this Fever team won't be diminished or disrespected anymore. It was a statement that the players see what's happening, that they understand the impact Clark has made, and that they're not going to let outdated narratives diminish what they're building together. This moment marks a turning point where the old narratives start crumbling and the truth about who's driving this renaissance cannot be denied anymore. When a respected veteran like Mitchell speaks up, it carries weight that can't easily be dismissed or spun away. Kelsey Mitchell is no bandwagon jumper. She's been there through the 5 to 31 seasons, through the rebuilding years, through the empty arenas. She's earned the right to celebrate this revival and call out those who try to diminish it. Her defense wasn't just of Clark, it was of the entire Fever organization, of the fans who stuck with them, and of the authentic joy that's surrounding women's basketball right now. The critics can keep talking, but they're running out of airtime because Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, and this entire Indiana Fever organization are writing a new chapter that's too powerful to ignore. The fans see it, the ratings reflect it, and now the players are speaking it into existence. This isn't just a good basketball story, it's a blueprint for how teams should defend each other against outside noise. It's a reminder that the strongest organizations stand together, veterans and rookies united against those who try to create division. If you stand with Kelsey and appreciate players who speak truth, hit that like button, drop respect in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on what happens next in this incredible WNBA season. But while Indiana rises, another storm is brewing. Gino Auriemma is furious, Paige Bueckers' draft stock is dropping, and without Caitlin Clark in the mix, everything is starting to unravel. Let's click here to watch.